So I'll start at the beginning with my basses. This red Music Man bongo. I think it's Candy Apple Red is the actual title. It's got a little bit of sparkle to her. Everything's stock on it. Stock pickups. Everything out of the box sounds real good. A little dinged up here and there, but gets the job done. Still sounds good. And there's Ernie Ball regular slinkies on here, which I believe are 45 to 130. And like I said, it's tuned to a drop C sharp, so half step down, and the string is in C sharp. It's another Music Man bongo, black though. Again, everything's stock on here. Same strings, Ernie Ball, regular slinkies, stock pickups. Just nice sounding bass. The only thing on here that's not stock is pick guard. Just got a flat black one. It kind of the other one was a little beat up. Same with the my red bongo. I got another pick guard for it. So it looks real nice and pretty. Another Music Man bongo. So this bass is set in standard. Again, everything's stock. And on here though, I'm using Ernie Ball Super Slinkies, which are 40 to 125. Being a standard tune instrument, it's got a little bit more tighter string tension than the half step basses. So that lets me have a nice consistency in tone and volume. Doesn't feel like I'm really cranking with the thicker gauge string on here. Warwick Fortress 1. Using the same gauge strings, Ernie Ball, Super Slinkies. Everything on here is active. I think I changed out one of the pots on here, volume pot, I'm pretty sure. It's a 94 model, so it's real old, but it's still sounds real good. It's was made in Germany. It's real badass bass. Late 90s model Stingray. But yeah, it sounds real good. You can see my little gaffer's tape trick here so the battery don't fly out. But yeah, nice bass. The only thing different on here that's not stock is this pick guard, which I did on here aftermarket to match my nice little wedge strap too. So that's all the basses I currently use. And so now we'll just go next part, my signal chain. I have two different signal inputs. One is the Line 6 G90 digital wireless unit, and my second input is this monster cable. And basically those two come in to my Morley AB box right here, and I just pick between them. Whenever I'm playing live, my wireless, which is in A, is my main signal path. But if anything ever happens to my wireless, I can just switch to my cable and keep going about my business until I figure out what's going on with it. And then out from the AB box, we go into the next part, which is my Voodoo Lab GCX switcher. And basically from here on out through the rest of my rig, everything's controlled via MIDI with the ground control unit that's right behind you there. Lets me access all my effects. I got some couple presets going on too. And we'll just start. I have two different signal paths from this GCX. The GCX basically splits my signal to a clean signal and a dirty signal, and for the purpose of making things simple, I'll just go through my clean signal first and then come back to my dirty signal. So clean signal wise, in the first loop comes out and comes to this Tech 21 BT Bass Deluxe pedal, and this is the brunt of my entire clean tone, and I have a preset for each tuning I'm using. So B is my first, then C sharp's my second, and then C is my third. And it just lets me have a nice consistency in tone, because sometimes when you switch tunings, your tone can change. So it lets me dial in everything nice and consistently. I get the right tone for each tuning I'm using. And out from this pedal, we go back into my GCX, and we go into loop 5. And then from loop 5 through 8 is all my clean effects. And the first effect in loop 5 is the bass envelope filter from MXR. It's a great little pedal. It's got a nice, real kind of like spacey funk vibe to it. The pedal in loop 6, which is my Tech 21 bass boost chorus pedal. Real pretty sounding pedal. I tried out other chorus pedals before this, like Boss stuff, MXR stuff. I just landed on this. This let me really keep the tone I had going in. So it sounds real good. There's a lot of options you can do to it too. I especially like having the depth control on it. In loop 7, we have my MXR Bass Octave Deluxe pedal, which is a real simple pedal. It's got 3 knobs, a mid plus switch, so you can kind of boost your mids on the octave end of things. And it sounds real good. And out from here, we go back into GCX, and then the last pedal is in loop 8, which is the MXR Bass Compressor. And it has 2 different jobs in my rig right now. The first job, and it's kind of like the least of the two, is I use it whenever I'm putting this envelope filter and chorus pedal together. I put this compressor after it to kind of make sure everything stays contained, the volume doesn't really swell up too much, there's no harsh notes, because before, when this compressor wasn't here, I really would get these kind of like harsh squealy notes that would hurt your ear. So this compressor makes sure everything is contained and that kind of stuff doesn't happen anymore. And then we go back to the GCX, and the GCX then sends out to my clean amp, which is this Gallien-Krueger 1001 RB head. Great head. My EQs for the most part is somewhat flat. My treble's turned down to about 11. My bass is like maybe 1130, and then my high mid and low mid is pretty much flat. I am using the bi-amp output mode on this amp too, so I can send, you know, different signals, different amount of signal to my my tweeter and the woofer in my cab to your right, which we'll get to in a minute. And yeah, it's pretty great. My contour is set flat, my presence is almost all the way up. And basically out from that head we go into one of these GK 412 cabinets, the Neo cabs. Great cab. Real light, it's lightweight for what it is. It sounds good too. Real punchy and crisp. It lets me have a real defined tone with everything else that I got going on. And that's my clean tone. And then my dirty tone is pretty straightforward. Like I said, the GCX splits my first signal, my original signal, into two, and that second signal is my dirty, and it goes into loop 2, and loop 2 has my first overdrive pedal, which is the Sansamp GT2 pedal from Tech 21. And it's got a lot of different selector switches on it between mic, mod, amp. It's got a cool high and low EQ on it. The drive is really touchy, so you can get a lot of different tones out of it. And this is basically my crunch channel, if you will, what would be considered a middle channel on a 3-channel guitar amp. And it's kind of basically just takes my clean tone and makes it a little bit more girthy, a little bit more grindy, but not over the top, overbearing or anything. And then it goes back into GCX, and then loop 3 is the newest addition to my whole rig, which is probably the most proud pedal I have in here right now. It is the Dark Glass B7K bass preamp. It's a pretty incredible pedal. And this pedal here is basically my high gain, my 3rd channel on a what would be a guitar amp. And it's just real punchy and grindy. That goes back to loop 3, and loop 4 sends out to my dirty head, which is another Gallien-Krueger 1001 RB head. And my EQ on this is definitely different than the EQ on my clean head. My treble is down to about 10 o'clock. My high mid is at about 11. Same with my low mid. My bass is a little bit more boosted to about 1 o'clock. And the reason being is before I had 2 heads going on and I still had an overdrive pedal, it was basically the pedal was in front of this amp here, and so I had a clean tone and a dirty tone going through one head, and it made for a hard time trying to EQ my sound. Whenever you have an overdrive signal come in, your high frequencies get a little bit more boosted and you lose a lot of your low end. So having 2 heads for a clean and dirty signal lets you kind of EQ a good solid tone for both. So this is what that second head has done for me. And out from this head we go into the other GK 412 Neo cab I got sitting over there, and all in all it sounds pretty good. I said there were 2 purposes for my bass compressor, and the second purpose is whenever I run my dirty channel, I always run my clean channel with it. So I basically have 2 different tones going on. I either have my clean amp by itself, and that's all that's happening, or I have my clean amp and my dirty amp together. And to prevent from big, huge volume swells, when I switch to having a dirty channel as well, I put this bass compressor after my preamp for my clean tone. That way, again, things just don't get loud and obnoxious. I still have a nice, solid volume without overbearing anybody else in the band or anything like that, and the sound guy doesn't get mad at me or whatever. And that's basically it for my whole rig. I have one last little spot left in regards to EQing my rig and making sure it sounds all good. Whenever I play live, I use the direct outs on my heads, and they each have their own channel in this Mackie 1202 board. And as you can see, it's somewhat EQ'd. My dirty's not EQ'd right now. I haven't really got to figure out on the dark glass yet, but my clean tone is pretty much EQ'd to where I like it. And then the house PA, wherever I'm playing, gets a mono out from the board, and I kind of adjust how I want to sound that night. If I feel like boosting up a certain part of my rig, whether it's the mids or the lows, I can do it all from right here without having to mess with my actual settings on my head. And I use the headphone out on the board to go into my in-ear system, and then the other input I use for if I'm playing to a click track or doing vocals or whatever like that for backup purposes. That's what the other inputs for. And everything you see right here is powered by this Monster Power 3500, and keeps everything nice and clean and crisp. And that's basically it. My pedal board that has my ground control unit on it also has a Boss tuner. It's all powered with Goliath pedal power. Same with all my pedals and effects. They're all powered with Goliath pedal power and 5x5 or the 5 Plus model. And that's pretty much it. My whole rig. So thanks for watching.